Thank you, Pastor Mike. Hi, Garden family. Okay, so how did God take me deeper this year? It was a simple question, but somehow took me months to answer. Mostly because I was still struggling to understand everything that I went through this year. I know that at the beginning of the year, I had determined that this year was going to be the year that I cultivated a deeper relationship with God. I really didn't have any plans as to how I would go deeper, but I knew that it was going to happen. And I mean, who doesn't want a deeper relationship with God? I remember when Pastor David had announced that our church theme for the year was going to be deeper, and I was so stoked that I was finally on the same page as God. I was like, yes, we're on the same wavelength. I remember that first sermon when God revealed to me that I was still holding on to some past childhood pains. I recall wiping the tears and thinking, yeah, let's not go there, God, because I didn't want to deal with things I had buried away. I mean, my relationships were doing okay. I thought my spiritual health was good. Why bring up things from the past that I've spent years suppressing? When I prayed for God to take me deeper, I didn't expect him to hand me a shovel and ask me to start digging internally. I did not know what I was about to dig up, and I was not ready to face any of it. However, I quickly realized this was the only way to cultivate a deeper relationship with God. And so I began digging. Through the Cultivate class, God revealed to me exactly what was hindering my relationship with him. There was pain from my childhood, some disappointment in God, and a need to control the outcome of my life. The biggest challenge wasn't the digging, but was not knowing what to do with this information. I was face to face with the ugliest parts of myself, my jealousy, my anger, my pride, and my depression. Obviously, these aren't words I would use to describe myself, but these were the issues that came to surface. All of my life, I have struggled with these issues. Feeling like I'm always losing to someone better, feeling like God is mad at me, and feeling like I'm wasting my life away. Healing is not always easy. I mean, there was a point in this journey that I really lost sight of what was true. I struggled for months trying to figure out how to change. But there I was again, trying to take control of my own life. And that's when God revealed to me that it was time for me to let it go, forgive, and trust him. I wish it was easy doing these things because I really battled with these steps. Like when I had been diagnosed with thyroid cancer, for those that knew from the start, I know you witnessed my strange reaction was such pure optimism and hope, which was all genuine, but reality didn't hit me until I had my pre-op with my surgeon. And I know the enemy witnessed me at a low point and hit me with confusion and anger, but God met me there and told me to let it go, like physically let it go. It was time for me to ditch my thyroid. I really didn't want to have the surgery, but I did what I needed to do, and I forgave God, and I trust him, and I know I'll feel better again. Then came the emotional baggage. And sermon after sermon, God kept asking me, let go of some past childhood trauma that I didn't realize I was still harboring. It took the longest to do, but God gave me that emotional breakthrough, and I let go all of that I was holding in, and I finally forgave the person who was really hurting me growing up, and I trust God with that relationship. Lastly, I am letting go of all the lies that I have allowed myself to believe. For years, I believed that God was mad at me and that I was not living up to any of his expectations. I even shared this with my Cultivate class that when I first did my solitude time with God, I avoided that assignment to the very end. I literally completed it 3.5 hours before our class started because I was so scared to hear God yell at me and tell me how mad he was. I was carrying this extremely heavy weight of being a disappointment in God's eyes. But when I finally gave in and when I finally allowed myself to have that solitude time, that's when I finally heard God. And the first thing he told me was how he wasn't mad at me at all. And it was time for me to let it go and just forgive. So I'm letting go of those lies, and I forgave myself for doubting God. And I can finally say that I truly trust God with all of my heart. As challenging as it was going through an emotional and spiritual roller coaster, I am so thankful that God was there to take me deeper. Thank you.